Now, friends, I will be discussing about the Neolithic and Chalcolithic rock art. You can also say that this art was the art of pastoral nomads and agriculturists. About 9,000 years ago, the earth was experiencing a warmer climate. Actually. Coincidentally, this was the period when the world also witnessed the most significant cultural change in form of domestication of various plants and animal species. Along with the thriving hunting gathering populations, a section of the society slowly became sedentary and thus became food producers. This economic and cultural shift resulted uh, into more self-sufficing mode of lifestyle by losing parasitism or hunting gathering way of life and achievement of self-sufficiency. Settled village life, growth in population size, and social interaction, trade, changed polity, as well as innovations are some of the important attributes that can be associated with this phase. These dramatic changes in socioeconomic setup has been beautifully portrayed in rock art also. Other than the thematic change, in, especially in the social themes, the most obvious, the most conspicuous change is seen in the manifestation of fauna or animal motifs. Now, entirely a new element, humped bull or humped cattle, zebu bull, was added, and this occupies a major space in most of the panels throughout India. And it looks as if the life of Neolithic man was revolving around this world. Whether social life or economic life, cattle became a universal beast. Scenes related to pastoralism and herding uh, are the most profusely portrayed scenes in the rock art of Neolithic Chalcolithic phase. This animal is portrayed in large herds with herdsmen. Many a times it was shown yoked in chariots and carts, uh, as well as in plowshare. Depiction of cattle can be also seen in large cow pens fastened with ropes or packs in milking activity. These are some of the most common themes which are associated with cattle. Other rock art scenes of this phase includes metallic axe wielders, cattle raiders, drummers, dancers, and hunters. By this period, cattle was so much so part of human life that its portraitures are even reflected in the plastic art in the form of bull motifs on pottery, terracotta bowls, on seals, ceilings, etc. It appears that by and large, during this phase in the subcontinent, and I think throughout the globe, the cattle-based pastoralism was one of the essential economies, and hence it becomes one of the most significant features of rock art world over. The earliest archaeological evidence of domestication of this animal in Indian subcontinent are from Mehergarh, located in the Kachi plain of Balochistan, which date back to about 7,000 years BC. Sedentism also brought, uh, sedentism particularly brought by agriculture was also a milestone in a way for scientific innovations also, which is also reflected in rock art of this period. Now, a metal, copper, was introduced thereby giving more durable and sturdy tool, uh, such as metal axes for cutting the trees, possibly use of metal in plowshare and sickle, chisels, etc. Use of metal further enhanced actually the techniques for the manufacturing of tools and implements as well as art objects also. Large variety of tools and weapons of copper that are found in hoards from various parts of India testimony this fact. This metal was also introduced in weaponry, which is depicted in rock art in the form of metallic axes used by the charioteers and cavaliers uh, during early historic phase for offense and defense purposes. Quite often, these axes are even depicted in hunting scenes also, in rock art of Chambal Basin specifically. Uh, Metallic axe wielders are at times painted in standing mode, sometimes as charioteers and also as animal riders. These figures occupy a significant space, uh, thereby indicating a transformed social setup from an egalitarian society towards a more complex chiefdoms. During this phase in central India as well as in western rock art zone of subcontinent, painting remained the most common technique for portraying the motifs, whereas in eastern zone and in South India, usings, engravings, packings, and painting were applied for manifesting rock art. Most of rock art sites of this period are present inside the Orang and Cliffs caverns, which are located in as well as in large, narrow, and small gorge of streams, rivulets, and rivers. As far as style of execution of various types of motifs and themes is seen, is concerned, uh, the earlier motifs means like during the early Chalcolithic phase, the paintings or the portraitures were much influenced by the Mesolithic style. But later depictions became more static but retained a balanced body proportion and the elegance as well. Most of the paintings of this phase are in the form of shadow graphs actually, depicted in silhouette of various of variants of red and white, and sometimes outline depictions were also used, which are usually partially filled in with flat wash. This was a most widely used technique to portray the animal depictions. Uh, Figures in outlines had body decorations of linear and curvilinear designs, whereas a part of the depiction was painted in flat wash. Initially, uh, I would say most of the depictions retained naturalism actually in a style, but the later depictions became conventionalized and stereotyped. On the basis of the pictographic similarities of paintings on pottery of this phase and that of the painted depictions of rock art, it can be tentatively put into the time bracket of 3rd and 2nd millennium BC in India. In this period, human forms engaged in various activities and forms uh, and informs about which these activities they inform about the uh, lots of lots of about the economy, the culture, the material culture, the hunting strategy of this, which was prevalent during this phase. The most important feature of rock art, I would say, of this phase is the miniaturized and very uh, small painted motifs of humans as well as animals. Uh, because what I have seen in Bundi area when I was exploring with Mr. Kopi Sharmaji, Kopiji, that Portraitures of a few centimeters, very small portraitures of cattle and animal figures have been depicted in different shelters. The stick-shaped humans are missing from this phase, and now they are replaced by well-dressed forms of humans executed in frozen posture. Actually, they have lost the dynamism. Human portraitures in flat wash and at times in partially filled outlines with oval and triangular faces is the characteristic form of portraiture of humans of this period. Association of humans with domesticated animals such as cattle and of course dog is an important aspect of rock art of this period. Herders, hunters, foragers, charioteers, farmers, chiefs, soldiers, animal riders are mostly portrayed during this period. Means like the theme, the thematic manifestation, the variety in theme has increased now. Apart from this, the family life finds its place during this period, and also along with this, a new element of warrior class was added along with dancers, solitary males and females, which are also portrayed during this phase. Scenes related to ritual and religion also starts finding some place during this phase. Variety of animals are portrayed in rock art of this period, but the cattle finds an important place in almost all the themes of Chalcolithic and Neolithic phase. Game animals such as deer, antelopes, boar, etc. finds their representation, but they only find their representation in hunting scenes. Scenes related to cattle generally portray large cattle herds, and cattle as a beast of burden is also portrayed at some select sites. Abstract designs and symbols have played a major part in the rock art of this period. Now, coming to next stage, and that is the megalithic period. So after the decline of this Indus Valley civilization by around 1500 BC, some new traits starts coming up or starts emerging in the cultural landscapes of the subcontinent, and that are very new actually in form of, and those traits are in the form of large mortuary grounds located on the barren lands dotted with various types of burial monuments such as uh, stone circles, menhirs, dolmens, etc. etc. Some were, of course, sepulchral and some were non-sepulchral. Uh, and like, the evidence suggests that actually uh, these were the settled people and there was a sort of rise in the political economy also, particularly in this period, megalithic period. And evidence also suggests that these people had a strong belief in life after death, and possibly in rebirth, and the idea of soul, of course. Artifacts reflect a complex society, a well-developed ceramic industry, use of iron, copper artifacts, stone beads, gold, silver ornaments, terracotta objects, etc., points towards the an advanced setup during socio-economic setup during this phase. Interestingly, these people also practice rock art, which can be either seen on the memorial monuments as well as inside caves and on boulders also. Mm, uh, Many of the boulders of stone circles and the large standing menhirs as well as the capstones of the dolmens are many a times marked by linear and random patterns of cup marks. A symbolism unknown to us, however, their placement on boulders of stone circles in Nagpur region reflect preferred directionality towards east and south. In South India, hundreds of rock paintings and engravings have been discovered in the vicinity of many of the megalithic sites. Some of these paintings reflect a symbology, some sort of symbology and other cultural aspects of megalithic folks of the subcontinent. The most important depiction is the painted megalithic grave from Chikrampur, district Bellary. Rock art of this period is actually, in a way, rare and is manifested at a few sites like Chennur in Andhra Pradesh, Mohorjari, Junapani in Maharashtra, etc. And generally in central India and in Deccan area, they are found in the form of petroglyphs depicted on stones used for building megalithic monuments. Now comes historical rock art. So this I will be discussing in the next session.